there is something to like horticulture therapy of like getting your hands dirty, working with your hands to like get you out of that mental like, yeah, just being like, oh, I need to get that thing done. I need to respond to that person. It's just like, no, just to put your hands in some dirt.
Yeah. You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumph and successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. And today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Melissa Brumm, the founder of Slow Life Revolution. So Melissa, how is it going today?
It's great. It's good.
just fine.
It's good, yeah. It's a little stressful, you know, it's a little stressful time right now, but
because of being on the show?
No,
or other just stuff going on?
Just life, you know, yeah. All the different things I got going on in my head, which you'll probably find out about
We're
today.
about to crack that can right open here.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing tip-top.
Good.
I got a super awesome guest in the studio here today, so I can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have, I believe that the world's a little bit on fire because it's beginning of the month and all that kind of stuff. So in our world, that's a big deal.
Right.
So, but I got employees taking care of it. So
okay. Yeah.
it's all. I guess we'll find out in an hour, right? Is everything cool or Anyways,
Right.
so we got this time now. We just shut off the phone and chat.
Right.
It's all good. So tell us, what is Slow Life Revolution?
Well, you just brought up shutting off the phone. That's essentially what it's about. So, Slow Life Revolution kind of started as this way of, like, as a reaction to how connected everyone is and how overwhelming that can be. And like, we're all in each other's business at all the times, and everyone is expected to respond to texts and respond to messages and post things and like and comment, and it can just be like way too much. And so Slow Life Revolution was my way of trying to turn the notifications off on your phone and just relax and remember what life was like before we had cell phones, because some people don't remember that, but a lot of people can remember that time, you know, when we just had like the phone on the wall and you could only answer it when you were home, and otherwise you could only meet people at a certain time, and how kind of freeing that was in a way. So
it was liberating.
Yeah, right. Like you were like, I'm meeting this person at this time, and if they don't show up in 10 minutes, I guess they forgot and I'm going to leave or whatever. Anyway, so that's what Slow Life Revolution kind of is. It's my life coaching business where I teach people how to get out of the rat race and the overwhelm that happens in their head because of being over-connected on the internet all the time.
All right. So the people that come to you, are they coming to you saying, I'm frazzled or I'm pissed at this social media thing, or my spouse or my partner or whatever is telling me that I don't ever look up from the phone, or when are they coming to you?
It's funny. Sometimes they'll say like, my spouse or my kids are on their phone too much. Like they'll judge other people.
It's not them.
It's not my problem. It's how do I help them get off their phones? And I'm like, well, you have to show them how to do it.
Oh, I learned it by watching you.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. So it's that, or it can be people who are just like, I don't know how to, like, they're overwhelmed with their kitchen or their closet, strangely. It'll just be like the clutter that happens digitally expands into your real life, you know? So it'd be like, how do I not feel so overwhelmed about all the clothes that are on the floor? You know, like, strangely, that's kind of what comes up, even though, but it can tie back to that, like, oh, I'm also overwhelmed because of all this stuff around me, but also the mental stuff that happens online and all the emails I have to, you know, all this stuff that we didn't really have 20, 30 years ago. I guess it was more like papers instead of emails or like letters and stuff. But so there still was stuff to overwhelm you, but that's kind of, it'll be people overwhelmed in some capacity of their life.
Got it. Yeah, I think of all the different channels for communication.
Yeah.
And whatever, 30 years ago-ish, whatever, you had phone, or you just maybe a letter.
Yeah,
or
mail,
you would actually
fax.
go to someone's front door. Fax, yeah.
Maybe a pager.
Sure, yeah. Call me
And
when you get a
remember
chance.
how annoying those were, though? It'd just be like, someone's pager would go off in like a quiet orchestra concert or something, and you'd be like, ah.
Yeah.
And now it's like everyone's like
Right, it's all phones.
Taking pictures of stuff all the time.
I do not live for the moment.
Yeah.
I live for this. I get to watch this again on this 4-inch screen.
Yeah,
Sometime,
exactly.
maybe never later.
Yeah.
Or-
I think people don't really realize it either, that they're doing it. Like, I do it too. Like, I'm at a show, I'm like, oh, I want to remember this, but then you're not quite living in the moment, so.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? I've caught myself where when I go to a concert now, I take a picture, maybe two, just to remember, just to trigger my memory.
Yeah.
But I have never, I don't believe I've ever recorded a concert, maybe my kid's concert or something like that, but
Yeah.
no concert where you see people trying to hold their phone the entire time.
Right.
Like that seems
You're like, what are you
crazy
doing?
annoying
Yeah.
for you, for everyone around you, and just, I mean, you paid money for this ticket to experience the live music. If you want a recording, there's probably an album or a website you can get it from.
Exactly. Go watch Taylor Swift's whole show.
Yeah, right? Somebody else recorded it and their camera's way better than yours.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll like catch myself, especially like at a show where I'm like, this is my favorite song. And I'll be like, okay, I'll like record a different song. And like, I'll try to be in this moment.
Oh, nice.
But I was not always like that.
Record the whole thing.
Right.
You know, I wonder, I like listening to live music. And sometimes you'll catch something on YouTube or something like that. And it's interesting because it'll be somebody else's recording and you hear more of the crowd,
Yeah.
the drunk, stoned crowd around the musician rather than the musician. I'm like, oh, that's lame.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
not as cool.
But what you said about just taking a picture to remember the concert, that's kind of nice if you like go back in your pictures, you're like, oh yeah, I did that day, and then you put your phone away for the rest of the concert. You're like,
That's it.
okay, I remember this, and now I'm gonna like just enjoy it.
I need a hand to hold my beer and probably jump around and scream a little bit.
Yeah,
so
right.
I don't feel like I need all hands occupied during a concert. You're trying to enjoy stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I know that I'm in the minority because you look around and apparently everyone's trying to record it forever.
Yeah.
So and I always kind of, I don't know, maybe I'm just old. I always wonder, what is the goal? Because I think of the people that back in the day had the video camcorder,
Yeah, those huge
right?
things.
Like,
yeah.
when are you going to watch this again?
Yeah. I know. And who really looks at that stuff?
I
Now.
doubt anyone, right?
Like, yeah, I have like a lot of home movies from the past, and it's like, we never go back and look at that. But then
No.
you look back at like something a month ago 20 times, and it's
Right.
not as good as, it's not a good snapshot of your whole life. I don't know. Yeah. It's,
So have you ever gone back and actually watched start to finish a concert that you recorded?
no, I'll take like a clip of like a minute or two of a song. And if
Okay.
it gets to 2 minutes, it's like, my attention span is so short. I'm like, if it's over 60 seconds, I'm not going to watch it again. But just
All
like
right.
give me a little chunk of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that like takes me back to that moment. But
Sure. Present podcast accepted here,
yeah,
right? 60
yes, I know.
A little bit longer, it's all good.
Yeah.
So was this a problem that you felt inside, figured it out, and then you realized that other people have that same issue?
Yeah, it kind of did stem from that. It kind of stemmed from COVID, essentially.
Oh.
Like, when we all had to stop for a while, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so overwhelmed with work and things I wasn't even thinking about, and I was like it felt like a moment where we all like looked up from what we were doing, and we were like, what? And that's what it felt like to me, where it was like, why am I like worried about all this stuff I'm spending time worrying about, or why am I, like killing myself over like making different posts on social media for different jobs or for myself to show what I'm doing. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And like, I don't want to remember when I didn't have to like show what I was doing to everyone, and we would get together for coffee and then I would tell you what I have been doing.
Right.
Instead of like, now it's like, you can post something and then someone is like, oh, I saw you post that thing, how was the thing? And that's where your conversation starts. Or, they don't even have to talk to you because they're like, oh, I know what you're doing. I see it on Facebook. I don't need to
meet up with
I
you.
don't need to meet up with you.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's kind of, it kind of started during COVID when I was feeling kind of overwhelmed about the amount of work I was doing. And I do work in social media management, so for a couple different Facebook and Instagram accounts. So that was always, when I first started doing that, I had no separation from it, where I was like, my work is this, what I'm portraying on social media, And if it doesn't get likes, that means I'm doing a bad job. That means my worth as a worker and like to get paid or whatever, it was like low, like bad.
Interesting.
So I couldn't, it was working in that field, I took like likes personally, kind of.
Personally, like to heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
I think
Okay.
other people do this too, but that's what I was noticing with myself. And then I would take it, I just took it way too personally. And I was like, I need to step back from this. Like, this is not reality, you know? And so, and I've noticed other people need help in different ways, not always that way, but in different ways where they're too connected or they're like, oh, I wish I didn't have to respond to texts like right when they come in. And I'm like, did you know you don't have to? Like, no one's like forcing you to do that.
No, no one ever texts an ambulance, right?
Yeah.
Or you shouldn't.
No, right.
Thumbs up comes by. Right?
So yeah, that's kind of how it started. And I just wanted this kind of, it's not like I want to reject technology. Like, there's definitely good things to social media and all kinds of technology. I love email. It gets things done so much faster than faxes or letters or anything else. So
Right.
It's just like not taking it so personally and not being like, all my worth is related to how quick I can respond to someone or how much work I get done or how many likes I get. Like, that's like, no, it's not. And let's reframe that.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I don't post a ton on social media, save for this podcast, and then some crazy employee stories.
Yeah.
Just to me, they're
I
entertaining.
want to hear some of those.
They're entertaining, and I don't know what else to do with that story other than just throw it out to my crew, because I know a lot of them are business owners as well, and they're going through the same stuff.
Yeah. Right.
So it's interesting because I don't pay attention to who likes it or whatever. I guess if they comment on it, I'll comment back, but most of the time I'm just like, throw it up there.
Yeah.
And it's just out in the ether. And it's interesting because I'll meet up with someone and they're like, oh my God, James, those employee posts. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. It's interesting. So that's cool. But I suppose if you're throwing stuff up there where you're feeling your identity with that, then there may be a problem.
Right.
On your end.
Yes, exactly. And now I'm more like that, where I'm just like, oh, I want someone to, like, maybe someone would get something out of this. Maybe someone wants to see this picture. And I'm not like going back to check the likes a day later, like before I go to sleep, you know, because it can like take over your life if you get really too attached to it.
Wait a second. So you would check how many likes before you go to bed?
I would check social media, or I'd be like, oh, I didn't post enough, or I didn't post enough on my stories or whatever. And I would just be like, oh, I have to like add some extra stuff. Or I would post extra things to feel better about myself.
All right.
Isn't that interesting?
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
That's bizarre. I mean, to me, I'm just clearly older than social media, I guess, because I'm just like, that's weird.
Right.
But then there's a lot of other people that I see that's their game. So their game.
I know. Yeah.
I was so I had to drop something off at this junior high, middle school, whatever. It's a bunch of 7th and 8th graders. Early in the morning, and apparently they don't let them into school right away. So they have to hang out in the cafeteria until the bell rings. So I'm walking, what I learned was the wrong direction. I'm trying to get out of the building.
Yeah.
The bell rings, and there's this mass herd of like Simba and all the yaks or whatever right in the Lion King. But it was quiet. Hundreds of kids, and they're all looking at their phone.
Oh.
And so I stood by this pillar, right? It was my little tree, my little Simba tree.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, and I'm like, this is weird. Who are you talking to or about on your phone that is not just next to your shoulder?
Right.
Right? You're 7th, 8th grade. Like, your circle's pretty small.
Yeah.
And then I see this kid literally run into the pillar. Boom. Right? He's on his phone, and apparently he wasn't looking, runs into the pillar. Nobody says a thing, and he just curves around, doesn't look up, and keeps moving. It was just like he was water.
Yeah.
It was just
a
one of
wave
those,
hitting a rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like an unintentional social experiment where I'm like, well, this is weird. So weird.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're
bizarre.
a guy, there's girls around you, wouldn't you want to chat them up, or vice versa, or even just your circle of friends, wouldn't you want to say like, hey, how's it going?
Right.
Instead of, maybe they're texting each other, maybe they're on social media, maybe they're not even talking or watching whatever that's anywhere around them. I have no idea what they were looking at on their phone.
That's so bizarre that
What?
it's totally quiet. And I think of a
was
school
bizarre.
hallway. It's like loud,
Yes!
so loud. Like people
Chatting,
yelling,
paper airplanes, throwing
stuff. Yeah, like.
It reminded me the first time I did I don't remember if it was a 5K or a 10K, and it was quiet. Because I guess people run with their headphones in, and I don't.
Yeah.
So there's this guy that I knew that I saw, and I was like, "Hey, Joe," and he's like, "Hey, James, I'm listening to a podcast." It's like, okay.
Don't talk to me.
So there's hundreds of people, and all you hear is footsteps, like it's some army or something like that.
Strange.
So luckily they weren't on their phone; they were hustling, whatever.
Sure.
But it reminded me of the same thing, where you're surrounded by people.
Yeah.
We're social creatures. Shouldn't we be
Yeah.
yapping?
Yeah.
But
I know.
there was no yapping.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah.
I don't
Do you
know.
remember that movie Her that came out like 10 years ago?
I never watched it.
Okay.
But I heard of it.
There's like scenes like that, but everyone is talking to someone in their ear. That was the thing. It was like earbuds before earbuds were a thing.
Yeah.
And they're all like chatting to someone. I don't like, who knows? Like they're friends. So they're talking, but they're not talking to each other. It's like so bizarre. Like everyone is talking in this crowd, but no one is engaged. No one is looking at each other.
Funny.
But it's in the same way now. It's just like texting or whatever, or listening to someone talk to you on a podcast or whatever. And yeah, that movie was nuts.
All right, I'll have to check that out.
You should.
Be a little freaked out.
It's a little like, at the time I was like, oh my God, would this really be reality someday? And it's kind of
So
is.
you learn.
I know.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I'm watching The Matrix, and I'm curious about that as well.
Yeah.
It's all good.
I wonder what kids' experiences are, though, with phones. I don't know, and with, being overconnected, because they don't know a different way of living, So, what's going on in their heads, and what are they thinking?
Where you used to just go to the park and play. Whoever showed up, showed up.
Yeah.
And that was just
Or, go knock on your neighbor's door and be like, you want to come out? And now it's like, you go,
schedule.
You play video games by yourself, or you talk to someone, which is still social. I don't know.
It's bizarre.
Yeah, you should do more social experiments like that.
I'm afraid to go to schools now.
Yeah.
So afraid. Yeah. It was a weird thing. It was a bizarre thing.
It's different than how it used to be.
Yeah, because I like to think, or at least pretend, that I'm an adult now. And I feel like when you're in 7th, 8th grade, you kind of got the world figured out, right?
Yeah,
or at least,
to a certain extent.
Your problems are nil.
Yeah.
Right? You got food and shelter. For the most part, you're covered there. You don't have to pay for anything. I mean, all your friends are around you. It's kind of playtime all the time.
Yeah. I loved 7th grade.
So it was one of those, it just seemed weird, now we have to entertain you with a phone? How much more?
What else do you need?
How much sweeter of a life could you possibly have?
Yeah, right.
So, but on the flip side, when I was in 7th or 8th grade, I was probably completely oblivious to how sweet of a life I had. So
You are, yeah. You're like, this
now
sucks.
that I'm an adult, I was like, oh, I need that again. How do I get that?
Right.
So, but
yeah. It's like newfound appreciation for being young.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, right.
So you do a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
You mentioned Elvis impersonating, so I want to chat about that.
I do that, yes.
Right. So how do you get into it? How do you do it? How do you schedule it? Tell me, I want to know it all.
Yeah. Yeah, well, for that, so I guess some background is, I've always worked in events for ever since I graduated college in horticulture. And I
Really?
Yes.
What? So
I never really went into it. I did work at Old Brick Gardens for a stint. And then I went right into music, working at the Orpheum. And I don't know where I was going with this, but I did. Okay, so for this Elvis act, I was always into the Beatles, as we were talking before.
Yeah.
And all old classic rock music. So I was obsessed with it. We're talking about 7th grade. My 7th grade year was all Beatles. I was just obsessed with the band and Elvis to a lesser extent, and all that other 60s music. But
Rolling Stones,
all the Beatles.
stuff like that?
No, not Rolling Stones.
No.
I don't. It's Beatle people are either Beatles or Rolling Stones, and it's one or the other. Strangely,
interesting.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. Rolling Stones fans are no, I don't like the Beatles. And Beatles are Rolling Stones. No.
Interesting.
And
It's
you-
British
don't
invasion
give me
either
that.
way. All
Yeah,
right.
I know. And I like them both, I guess, but
All right.
I
The
can't
neutral
say I
third
like
party
it.
camp here.
Right. Yeah. So I've always been into like old music, and strangely, like I used to like learn all these George parts on like guitar. Like I wanted to be like a George in a Beatles tribute band. Like that was like
All right.
an idea in my head, and I was like, how could I do that? Could I really like put a wig on and do it? And that just was like a 7th grade pipe dream, like a little thing that went away soon. And but then later, I guess, like because Elvis came up later in my life, where I could just do the voice, and I would just do jokes with people, like, "Hey, the pretty mama, what's going on?" You know, like I could just do it for
Damn,
some
that's pretty
reason.
good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's, but you asked me to do a British accent, I can't do it. Like,
All right.
there's only certain accents I can do. And then my cousin was like, "You should do this. Like, this should be a thing." And she had an Elvis themed party, and I was like, "I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna buy the suit. I'm gonna show up as Elvis and surprise everyone." And I did it, and it was like a crazy, crazy day. It was like super funny and super fun. And I just did it as a joke.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just turned into like, you should really like sing, and you should really do this. I don't even know what happened after that. I just started getting like little one-off, like come up and sing a song with this band, you know, and so I did a couple shows like that, and then I started doing my like, and then COVID happened too.
All right.
So this also stemmed out of COVID. This is so interesting because there's nothing to do.
All right.
So it's like, I'm gonna entertain people by doing live streams on social media.
You're kidding.
Yeah, so this makes no sense. How I'm like
This gets cooler every
incorporating
time.
social media. I was like using social media to do Elvis and kind of like entertain people and make them laugh. And at the same time, I was like, we're all too overconnected and like moving into, you know, but it is that like balance of using it for good, like entertainment and
Sure. Well, it's
as
a
an
tool,
outlet,
right?
as a tool,
Yeah.
And like overusing it or, you know, getting too attached to it. So I would do live streams during COVID, and I would do like goofy songs, and it would be like Elvis singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow or whatever, you know. And so that's how the whole act started, and now I have this act, like established act.
Wow.
Strangely, yeah. So I do a Groundhog Day show. I do like goofy
Groundhog
shows
Day
like that.
Elvis show?
I do a Groundhog Day Elvis show.
Wow.
And I do, I also do other impersonations. So I put on, this is the weirdest thing. Sorry, this is like not related to your podcast at all, but.
I kind of, this is the authentic part,
Right.
right?
Yes.
First word, authentic.
Yes,
It's all
authentic. So I would do Sonny and Cher, where I'd put like this different wig on and a fur coat on one side and like a mustache on this side and like switch back and forth. And I was like, okay, I Got You Babe was the song from Groundhog Day. And so I was like, wouldn't it be funny to do a Groundhog Day show? And I started doing that at the Mason Lounge down Park Street. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Like, because I was like, let's try it on a small audience.
good. Sure.
It's a small bar.
The Mason Lounge, you're
Yeah.
talking like 10 old guys there? Or?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
That's awesome.
That is true. It was like a Thursday, and these guys were like, "Oh, we're gonna have some entertainment. Oh, you play guitar." And I was like, "Nah, you don't know." You're
Just
gonna
wait.
see." Yeah, and then so
Hold on to your popcorn and peanuts. You're about to be entertained here.
yeah, exactly. So that's what that act is. It's like goofy Elvis, like authentic Elvis as well, and then like what if Elvis sang whatever Tequila and like
All right.
other random songs, and so that's what the whole act is about. And
Wow.
I actually did. This is weird too. That I signed up for an Elvis impersonator or like Elvis tribute artist. That's different. I learned.
Oh,
So I went to an Elvis tribute artist competition where I competed to try to be the best Elvis tribute
wow,
artist.
that's awesome.
But you can't say you're an Elvis impersonator. That's a different thing.
Tell me what the difference is.
I don't know. I think it's like that's a little hokier. They don't take themselves seriously. And
The
I was like,
impersonators don't.
the impersonators, yeah.
Huh.
So
All right.
I was in like I had to like study and like practice and like really do the thing. So yeah,
What do you
that
mean
was
study.
Well, like study the songs. Like you have to sing it exactly like he did it.
So
you have
you'd
to
be
like
impersonating
move the
him?
way. Exactly. Yeah, that was my point. I was
Nomenclature here. All right.
I know.
All right, whatever.
They take themselves very seriously.
I guess. Well, how'd you do?
Which is okay. I didn't place.
Well, it had to be interesting enough just to, what was that movie? It's Leaving Las Vegas or something like that, where they have all the Elvis impersonators or Elvis people coming out of the plane.
What? I need to see that. I haven't seen that
one. James Caan and Nicolas Cage.
I've definitely heard of this, and I need to watch it.
Yeah. And Sarah Jessica Parker.
Okay.
I think Nicolas Cage dresses up as Elvis with this crew to jump out and save Sarah Jessica Parker from James Caan or something like that. I don't remember the story exactly. I do remember a lot of Elvises in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So I don't know if they were impersonators or what was the other one?
Tribute artists.
Tribute artists. Okay, yeah. I don't know about that. Which one was which, but
yeah.
A lot of Elvises.
I will be. I do call myself an impersonator because I impersonate other things, not just Elvis.
All right.
But so that's another great entrepreneurial journey that I've had.
You got to tell me how you market this. Do you have a website, or do you just
do
people just know, or how do you?
A lot of it's word of mouth. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I do have a website, and like I said, I started on doing live streams on Instagram, so that's my main social media outlet is my Instagram page. That's where I normally post people to, because I post more regularly on there than my website.
So did you set up a studio at your house, or where would you do these things?
I was just like, just in my bedroom. It would just be like singing and dance, because I had a lot of space, and so I would just like put my laptop next to my phone, and I would live stream from my phone and play the music on my laptop and sing. And that was like my original setup. And then I later got like an actual microphone and like the whole cord system and all of that. But since like things have opened, I haven't done the live streams as much. Okay. Because, just like burnout on screen burnout.
Because you talked to this coach who told you to settle the screens down, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what kind of company or what kind of, who hires you for Elvis stuff? Or Sonny and Cher stuff?
Yeah, I'll put on my own shows most of the time, where I'll just like.
You'll set up a show?
Yeah.
At a bar?
Like I'll talk to a bar and I'll be like, can I bring in this free show or whatever? I'll charge $5 or something. And
all right.
Most of them have been free and just for tips, because that's an easy way to like.
Sure.
Certain bars are like, like if it brings people in, like, well, people drink, whatever, put some music on the stage, so.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and that's like one of my, I've worked in music for years, so I kind of know how to promote myself that way, where I'm like, hey, can I bring the show in? And then I just I have so much material that I'm like, I can just play my backing tracks and set up a set list, and then I market it on Instagram and Facebook and tell all my friends. And so it's mostly my friends that come. But then some people see me, like I did Make Music Madison last summer. Okay. And MSCR has a pontoon boat that you can perform on. And I was like, I have to get that gig as Elvis doing a show on a boat. Like, that would be funny. And so I did that. And then someone like saw me on that and hired me for to do a show at the Children's Museum. I got that because it's goofy, like kiddie kind of thing. Right. So yeah, I don't know. Some things like that happen. It's just mostly word of mouth. I'm not really trying that hard to get a lot of shows, but
sure. So I'm thinking about this, and just outsider looking in. One, let's just take a top level here, right? You have to have the Stones to go on the stage and do the whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. Two, you got to have the Stones to go to the bar and say, hey, I'm going to do this thing on stage. Mm-hmm. You got to do all this stuff. It takes a lot of courage to do all that.
I guess so. It's like strange. I don't even think of it like that.
So I guess that's my point. Is you hear one of the biggest fears that people have is public speaking, and you'd be like, well, are you more afraid of public speaking, or would you be more afraid of trying to impersonate Elvis in front of people
and stand on the stage?
I feel like they'd be like, well, that's worse. And let's take it a step further. And you have to sell yourself as being the person, so you have the opportunity to go on the stage.
Yeah. It was scary. It was scary at first, because I started as a joke. It was like, and like that can be fun, you know, like people like to go dress up for Halloween. Like you can go put on a costume and be like, hey, whatever, because everyone else is dressed up. And
safe
that's
place,
like,
we're all good.
Yeah, that's safe. It's Halloween. Like it's okay to wear a costume, but like to like walk out of my bedroom where I was doing these live streams and be like, hey, I'm an Elvis impersonator, to like people who weren't like the 5 people who watched me on this thing. I guess just like seeing people's responses to it, and they were like, oh, that's funny, or like that's clever, or whatever, that like helped me, I guess, step out a little more.
All right.
If people were like, ooh, what are you doing? I don't know about that. That's kind of weird. I don't think I would have like gone and done shows like live.
Okay.
You know? I probably would have just still been doing them.
Test the waters
online.
A little bit.
Yeah.
With social media, where before you just have to go to the bar and
I know. Just would have to
don't
do
get
it.
thrown at you or something.
And so in a way, like my brain is like, oh, it's Halloween, and I'm just dressed up in a costume.
All right.
And so I think it's easier to wear a costume on stage than to like be yourself on stage.
Oh, interesting.
You know, like, or be yourself, like speaking, because you're like totally authentic. You know? Not that my act is like, it's not really staged. It is just me like kind of throwing stuff together and kind of improvising stuff.
Mm-hmm. But it's just you, right?
But it's just me too, yeah.
You don't have a drummer in the background or something like that, or someone that you can be like.
And I put the backing tracks together, and I'm doing all the tech stuff up there. And
wow.
Yeah. So I think the costume helps, and that like I can laugh at myself while I'm doing it, and like if I mess up, it doesn't matter because I'm wearing a costume, like because other people are laughing.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be an entertaining thing.
How do you walk the line between being an Elvis impersonator or being good at the songs and the music, and then going into the comedy portion of it without insulting Elvis or insulting people that like Elvis? Because I'm thinking, like, could I impersonate Elvis? No, not well.
No?
Not well. People would laugh, but they'd laugh out of pity to me.
Oh. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that's either a thin line or a small gray area.
It is a fine line. And sometimes I will wonder, like, is this just really bad? And people are just laughing at me. Yeah. And that can be really scary. I don't feel that on stage. Like, when I get off stage, I'm like, oh my gosh, was that really just like terrible? And all the laughter was just people laughing at me at how bad I am.
Sure.
And I will wonder that sometimes and kind of fall into I'll go into this like spiral, you know, just like the ups and downs of like, is it that good? Are people laughing at me? Are they laughing with me? You know?
Right. They laughing at the performance, or are they just laughing at you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
They're laughing because I just kind of suck. But
yeah. Because I guess there's so many people that I've seen, when I've seen Elvis impersonators, usually it's just accidental. I'll be at a car show or something like that, and hey, there's a guy.
Yeah.
And usually it's a crowd. I remember my mom is just like, oh my gosh, he really pulls that off, right? Or this person is doing a really good job making it feel like Elvis is there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I also feel like, because some people are psycho about Elvis, or even the Beatles. Oh my gosh. There's some people that probably have shrines in their house that
they do.
I don't want.
I know some of them.
Then I imagine that you're just like, hey man, we're having fun, we're entertaining. And they're like, whoa, 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 you are insulting. Whatever, a national treasure here or something. Yeah,
that is there are people who would like hardcore judge you, like on like you have to, and that's what like doing this competition really showed me, like, wow, you have to like hold yourself in a certain way, and if you don't like, and they actually, this is funny, I got called because I do like a comedy act. I think they thought I was gonna go up there and kind of be like, like
start juggling,
dumb, yeah, like kind of deface Elvis, and they were like, "Are you sure you want to do this competition? Because are you gonna like?" Oh. And I was like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna do it right. You know, I'm gonna sing "Burnin' Love" or whatever as that." But I think they thought I was gonna do a comedy show because there are people who are like super into it, but
interesting.
Or they're like, judge, like, you have to do Elvis the right way.
You either do him exactly or you don't do him.
Yeah, right. So I guess my audience is not that like that hardcore.
Psycho.
I think I could do that. Like I have done Aloha from Hawaii, the whole like Elvis album, like as
The whole
Elvis.
thing?
Well, like an hour of it,
That's
because
a
it is
lot.
long, and there's some songs that people don't know. So I'm like, meh,
Right.
we'll cut that.
People that aren't 80.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I will do like authentic Elvis, but my crowds are more like the ones who are like casual fans, who
Sure.
are like, I like that, but I also like hearing Sonny and Cher. I like hearing a different
All
thing.
right.
And I've seen other Elvis impersonators do that. Like I saw someone in Florida do like, because Elvis sang "You Were Always on My Mind," which is also a Willie Nelson song, and so he kept putting this Willie Nelson wig on and taking it off and doing these different voices, and I was like, and that was like a real Elvis
Wow.
crowd, and I was like, okay, if he can do, that's what I do.
Right.
Like, I do the goofy stuff like that, and people thought it was funny, so I was.
But it's
Yeah.
goofy, and you have some crazy skills to do that. Bounce between Willie Nelson and Elvis.
I don't know if I could do that, but yeah, this guy is, yeah.
I mean, you're talking
good
about the
at it.
Sonny and Cher thing too.
Yeah.
There's skills there where on the one hand you're just like, that's pretty funny, but on the other hand you think, holy cow, man, that person's got some skills to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
But just like when you see somebody juggling 10 chainsaws or something, you're just like,
Right.
oh, that's kind of funny. We're going to watch this guy lose an arm. But then you think, that's 10 chainsaws, right?
Right.
Sometimes I throw a dish rag towards the sink and it doesn't hit the sink. This guy's throwing chainsaws around.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is there a certain vintage of Elvis that you aim for? Younger versus older? Jumpsuit
I do
or
the
suit?
older, yeah,
Okay.
the older jumpsuit
All right.
era. I have a black jumpsuit and a white jumpsuit. So
Nice.
yeah, I haven't done the early stuff. I don't have the voice for it.
Okay.
It's more like raspy. You know, I think I need to take some more vocal
Smoke a
lessons.
little more.
yeah, like I don't know how to do that with my voice.
All
but
right.
yeah.
Are you playing guitar at the
Anyway.
same time?
I have done guitar and ukulele during certain songs. It's hard to do though.
Yeah.
You know, to
I can
sing
imagine.
and do that. So I only pull it out for like one song a show, maybe.
All right. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally understand because this, I'll tell you a really quick story that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
Do it.
semi-related.
Yeah.
So when I first started this channel, it was called Draw In Customers, and the idea was that I was going to do business coaching on this whiteboard and draw cartoons at the same time.
Oh, okay.
To
Where
explain
is
what
it?
I was doing, right?
Yeah.
But I had the hardest time trying to draw and talk
Oh, yeah.
because you're concentrating on drawing and then you're trying to talk about something pretty important. And then I realized, well, my back is to the audience. So I'm like, oh, I get why those whiteboard videos, you just see the hand. Because
Right.
it's way,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we got to go a different direction with this.
Yeah.
So I get it. Singing,
Right.
playing guitar at the same time while trying to entertain and all that jazz.
Yeah, right. To like keep the pace of a show too, and like take the guitar, put it on, tune it. Oh, ooh, okay, I'm wasting a lot of time here.
Oh, and it's
Yeah.
just you.
It's just me.
So it's
Yeah.
not like you have your
I don't have a
henchman in the back
guitar
to help
tech
you out?
yet. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I might need some of your cartoons though. You should tell me how to get more shows. Or
Oh, maybe.
just kidding. Just kidding.
I could try, yeah, the whole event thing, I haven't figured that out. So kudos to those that do. I've tried to put on events or even tried to help people market events. That is not my jam.
It's can definitely be hit or miss. It can depend on the weather. You do an indoor show and people are like, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to go. You know, even if they bought
Indoor
tickets.
show.
Even if they bought tickets.
Yeah, I have to
You're
walk
like,
10
whatever.
feet.
Or snow or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it seems to come down to.
Oh,
It's like,
funny.
if it's nice out, I'll go to that outdoors thing. If it's nice out, I'm not going to go to the, you know, I'm not going to go work out inside. It's like, you know, I don't know. I think people are very, it seems they're like move with the weather.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, the joke is that in the wintertime they hibernate.
Yeah.
So whatever's
Yeah,
going on, I don't
Don't
want to see
plan
it.
anything
Yeah,
in the
no.
winter.
Right.
No, I know that's a hard time.
So you got other stuff going on. Event planning. Tell me about, I mean, let's segue
Yeah.
into that, right?
Well, yeah. Yeah, as we're talking about events, I do organize a Beatle music festival as one of my other.
This is Beetle the band, not Beetle the
Beatles the band.
insect. Okay.
Yeah, not the insect.
So Beetle Festival, this is in
Yeah.
Kentucky.
Yep, right outside Louisville,
All right.
Kentucky. Yeah.
And is it Beetle impersonators or is it,
Yeah.
who's there?
Yes. So
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly Beatle impersonators. This year we have the Fab Four, who is like the biggest Beatle impersonator group in the world, big Beatle tribute group in the world.
All right.
The Beatle tributes.
Tribute, okay.
I don't hear people say impersonator about Beatles.
It's tribute.
But yeah, it's
Is it to the
tribute
point
or
where they
cover
got the
band.
hair and the suits and all that kind of stuff? And
The boots and suits
thing?
bands.
Oh, the boots and suits.
Boots and suits, yeah. That's
awesome.
what they're called. So yeah, we got a couple of those that do the whole shtick.
All right.
The suits or the Sgt. Pepper suits or the Shea Stadium outfits. Yeah, they do all the eras.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is that, tell me what kind of audience you get there. Is it older?
It's a little older.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, it's like whoever grew up with the Beatles, but we do get young people. I mean, like me, I started to love the Beatles when I was 12, so we do get younger people, and we get people bringing their grandkids too.
Oh, wow, okay.
You know, so it's like they grew up with the Beatles and they want to bring their families, and it's, you know, it's a music festival that's like good, clean fun. You know, you're not going to hear swear words. There's no like, you know, raunchy music.
Sure.
It's all Beatles. It's
All
all
right.
60s. Just all fun, family friendly.
Sure.
You know,
so wholesome. It's all good.
So yeah, I have a lot of different things going on.
All right.
In my entrepreneurial world. So
Tell me, I'm probably missing something, so tell me another one.
What else is there?
Or tell us another one, right?
I know. Yeah, I haven't even looked at the camera. Well, in the past, I used to have this business called Horticraft. And this is how I went from horticulture to into the business world. Because I was kind of jumping on that, you know, when everyone was making those like board things that were like, welcome to our home, and they're painting them with like wine nights.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll do like plant wine nights like that. And so I had this stint of this business where we would go to barriques and different like wine or coffee shops, and you'd make a terrarium or you'd make a thing with a air plant, you know, and different plant things.
That's awesome.
Because in the same realm as like being overwhelmed on social media, I guess my life is all kind of connected, even though it sounds like everything is strange. There is something to like horticulture therapy of like getting your hands dirty, working with your hands to like get you out of that mental like, you know, the mentality of just being like, oh, I need to get that thing done. I need to respond to that person. It's just like, no, just to put your hands in some dirt, or some rocks or something. And
what happened to that
create
business?
something. You know what? It just kind of fizzled out. I was not like, I think I did it for about 2 years, and it's like I stopped while I was ahead in a way, where like I just had broke even, or I just had made some money off of it.
Yeah.
And then I stopped, and I don't know why. It's like,
you don't know why?
Yeah, it was like, I think I like had different priorities where I was like, I wanted to work more in events and like really go full into that and not do so much of all this different stuff. So I kind of just dropped that on the wayside, but
all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Does that mean you ended up with all these glass bottles to make sure?
I was just thinking about that. I need. I have like 2 or 3 bins of glass jars.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bins of like equipment. So I could go back.
Fire it up again at least one time.
I could, yeah.
I'm just picturing this like.
And we'll have Melvis perform.
Right.
And yeah.
That sounds amazing.
So it's strange. Yeah, it's like a lot of events. My world like revolves around doing events in some way. It's like horticulture, it's music, it's performing, it's and then I also am a yoga instructor. I don't teach anywhere right now, but I have my certificate and I want to put on retreats, and this is my next my next venture, which goes along with Slow Life Revolution, more the meditative, like let's physically get you away from your phone and bring you into a different mental state and kind of talk through things, journal, and do yoga and meditation.
Thanks.
So yeah.
So out of all the stuff that you've done so far, do you have a favorite?
I think Elvis.
All right, well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Because it's so fun.
All right.
And there's no like, it's just like, I like keeping it fun too. There's no pressure. And I guess maybe that's not the best example because I make money on it, but it's not like I'm not going to quit my job.
You're not buying your yacht or anything?
But so if I really like strived toward it, maybe it would be less fun. But you know, I do like a couple shows a month.
All right. That seems like a lot.
here or
I
there.
don't
So
know.
yeah, but I'm not like gonna tour with it, you know. Or
Yeah.
like, there's people who like perform 5 days a week.
Go on the cruise circuit or something like that.
Well, that could be a fun idea.
All right.
I like that idea.
Do you have one that's you're just like, I don't know what I was thinking, didn't work out, whatever?
I had this business. I kind of had this business called pop-up yoga, where I would just do
Did you
like.
say I kind of had this business?
Yeah.
Kind of had this.
I kind of did this thing
Okay.
where I like did pop-up yoga classes outside,
Okay.
and as we know, I was just talking about the weather. That was very hit or miss. With like, it's raining, it's windy, and then I would have to cancel all these events and reschedule them, and yeah, so that was in a long stint of doing that.
Parks and stuff like that, or where would you go?
Yeah, just like what am I thinking of, like Bernie's Beach? Yeah, like parks
Okay.
along the waterfront,
Got it.
essentially.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
cool.
anyway, but also, what was I thinking? Kind of the Elvis one too. Like, what is that? What was I thinking with that? And now it
Elvis
turned
fun.
into something. I know, it's like crazy how it was like just a goofy thing that like actually turned into something I really like doing. You know.
That's cool.
So, and that's I don't know. I like that about.
Well, if you're having fun with it,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those whatever.
Yeah.
So, are your parents entertainers or in the entertaining field, or how did you land in this?
No.
No.
They're not. I mean, my mom dabbled in different. I mean, she like is a musician and played piano, and she was actually Miss Marinette up in Marinette, Wisconsin. So she.
Oh, that's
was,
cool.
Yeah, she
Congrats
was
to
almost
her.
Miss Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she, in that way, she kind of performed.
I would say so.
She was a newscaster for a short period.
Come on, that's totally
and a
entertainment.
teacher. So yeah.
All right.
So I guess
Totally
that's
entertainment?
getting in front of people.
All right. How about your dad?
Yeah. No, he worked in an office.
Okay.
You know.
Not
In
entertainment.
like finances. Yeah. Not as. Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds like your mom was.
Yeah. And maybe
I don't know
get it
any
more
news
from her.
anchor that's
Yeah.
not an entertainer. I mean, that's
Yeah.
of
Exactly.
the
You have to
game.
have that like that face or that way of speaking and holding
yeah.
yourself. So.
They're not. It's not exactly clown nose kind of stuff, but it's totally entertainment.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, news is entertainment now.
I mean, it's the world we're in. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know where I like really developed that from.
All right.
And I mean, but I also played like instruments through middle school, high school.
Okay.
Cello, guitar. And
Nice.
from that, I guess you get up on stage with an orchestra and
Yeah.
perform. So
And was that the instruments like that? Was that your idea or was that your parents' idea?
to get into playing
To get into-
instruments.
yeah.
I think like I was kind of pushed into doing strings. I think everyone had to do strings at a certain point, and I just picked cello, and I
Okay.
kept going with it. So no one, they didn't like force
They
me
didn't
to.
force you?
Yeah.
All right.
And it was my idea.
My mom tried to
do
force me
guitar.
into baritone, and
Oh,
no.
the baritone. Yeah.
That is almost a way to guarantee that your butt's going to get kicked.
Really? Oh no.
You're just like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being crazy dorky, you got baritone? Yeah, there's nothing else that you can do. You're just straight up
Yeah.
dork.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, not now, because no one would see you in the hallways of middle
Oh,
school.
right.
They'd
They
be
wouldn't
like-
even know.
They wouldn't
even know. I could be on
wouldn't know.
Instagram playing baritone. And just
Yeah.
guarantee. Oh, I can't even imagine that. That's terrible.
I know.
That's terrible.
That's funny.
Melissa, we are running out of time here. So I feel like you have a laundry list of websites to tell us, because I want to start with the Elvis one.
Okay.
So if someone wants to see the Elvis stuff or
Yeah.
hire you, where do they go?
You can go to Melvis.Rocks. That's Elvis with an M. .rocks. And from there,
R-O-C-K-S?
R-O-C-K-S.
All right.
Yes. And from there, you can find my Instagram and my YouTube and all my videos from there. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
What about the Slow Life Revolution stuff?
So Slow Life Revolution is just slowliferevolution.com, and you can find all my information, my blog posts, and all my information there about how to slow down your life.
All right.
And get away from social media, unless you're watching Melvis videos.
Or podcasts? It's all
Or
good.
podcasts, yes.
Yeah. Tell me about event planning.
Well, I don't really have a website for that, but
Okay.
my festival, if anyone wants to know, is
Yeah.
The festival I organize, arotr.com. It's Abbey Road on the River, and so that's my main job, as contractor.
Sure.
But yeah,
Abbey Road on the River. That's
Yeah.
pretty clever.
yep,
That's
yeah,
definitely
very
Beatle
Beatles themed. Yeah,
That is awesome.
So that's
Cool.
it. Thanks for. talking about all my different ventures.
You know, it's so funny. I heard you speak about the Slow Life Revolution thing, and I thought, that's cool. I got to have Melissa on the show.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Little did you
like,
know.
not even the tip of the iceberg idea that you did Elvis stuff, Beatles stuff, event planning website.
Should have warned you. Should have warned you about
yoga.
the Elvis thing. And the yoga, that's kind of.
No idea.
Yep.
No idea.
All
so,
things.
I got to say, it's pretty cool. It's very safe to say that you are one of the most diverse, coolest guests I've ever had.
It is very diverse. Well, I'm glad I was still welcome on your podcast because I know it's about business. It is business.
It's authentic. It's all good.
But it's not one. Yes. I'm
you know,
like.
It's very interesting talking to you, or just a lot of people that have a lot of stuff going on, myself included, because I have people that are just like, what do you have, James? Now, like 20 businesses?
Right.
And I always think, how many entrepreneurs do you know that only have one?
Exactly.
Like truly only have one.
The entrepreneur, that brain is just like always thinking of different ideas.
No, there's always, I mean, every day you're coming up with 20 different businesses.
Yep.
And you got to just pull the reins back to not work on at least one of them.
Yes.
Every single day.
Yeah.
So when you meet an entrepreneur or something like, let's take Elon Musk, right? He's got the cars, got the rocket ships, we're boring holes, trains, taxis, stuff like this.
Yeah.
I'm like, name an entrepreneur. What about the Bezos guy, right? He's got Amazon. He's got rocket ships. He's doing all this stuff. I mean, everyone that's an entrepreneur that I know, they are at least dabbling into something else because that's kind of the game.
Yeah. You're like an ideas person if you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah. We implement at least 57% of the way, and then we might just walk away. But
I know. That's the hard part, to like not walk away.
That's the tough.
Later.
That's very tough.
You know, to stay with it. And not be like, oh, but this new shiny idea is like way better.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That sounds fun.
I was getting an engine rebuilt by a guy. And I was like, looking at the machine shop, and he's got all this equipment, right? Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of equipment. I'm like, do you make any money at this? And he's like, no. I make money with my lawn care business, and that pays for this business. I was like,
right.
He's like, this business is fun, right? We get to build race engines and stuff like that, and just hang out with people that are grease monkeys. It's all good.
Yeah.
But the lawn care business that I hate, that's the one that pays for this.
Sounds about right.
Like,
yep.
All right. So every entrepreneur, or I guess every, out there say cool entrepreneur, has multiple things going on. So all good. Melissa, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been amazing.
Right?
Super fun.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, keep the algorithm happy, give it the big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with all of your entrepreneurial friends, especially those that love the Beatles, love Elvis, are into yoga, need to pull away from social media a little bit. I'm missing something here, but...
I think you hit it all.
All right, good enough. Good enough. We'd love to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Melissa Brumm, Slow Life Revolution. Melissa, tell us the Elvis website again.
Melvis.Rocks.
Melvis.Rocks.
Yep.
I love it. And then Slow Life Revolution, where's that?
.com. SlowLifeRevolution.com.
Easy enough. Cool. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.